Montimi. CCU at South Bay going to Bay Harbor Hospital. 923045.
As a result of the outbreak,
At
the
11:43.
entire region may be in danger
Zero
of
to
lethal
SHTF
agent.
authorization
If conditions at your location make this a
41055.
possibility, you need to consider staying in place until the threat has subsided or blown over. The following steps will ensure that your home will serve as a biological or chemical safe haven. Select an inner room on an upstairs floor with the least number of windows and doors. Choose a large room with access to a bathroom and a telephone.
Five affirmative, break, medevac 39, advisor 97 times 39. 17147, 1 mile, for all 90. Hello? Is anyone out there?
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Horsemen, welcome back.
Thanks for
Welcome.
having us, the Roman
Yeah.
Prepper.
Yes,
Appreciate you hosting.
That
Good to
intro
be
goes hard in the headphones, man. I was sitting
It
here
does.
vibing,
The
bro.
bass. I'm working on another one. I just didn't get to finish it in time. So let's say a quick hello to everyone. Mr. Scott. Hello, Scott. KK. Coffee. Everyone's favorite coffee fan. Michigan Outpost. JBS. Who else do we have in here? Well, now the whole chat just went flying by. So.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and there's Vision telling us he's backstage. Rob, Teresa, hey, Scott's there. Jules, Demo Man, welcome, welcome. Grit and Grace, Teresa, Half-Ass, and everyone. You know what's funny? Half-Ass gets away with having ASS in his name, but Nostradamus had to put stars in
Yeah.
his.
Nostradamus, is that the guy? I
Yeah,
the guy
yeah.
on Facebook named that.
He had to put some stars at the end of his name
Maybe
because
because the dumb was
couldn't-
behind.
couldn't
the
tag him in
ASS.
anything, man. Couldn't tag him.
Yeah, no, it blocked us. So, gentlemen, I think we pretty much have our regulars. Tennessee Tactical, welcome.
What up, TT1?
So I threw a early poll out there, which the early comers kind of got I said, what is the thing that concerns you that may happen the soonest? And I'm going to throw that in the chat real quick. I don't know if you guys can see that. So
Yeah.
Everyone thinks financial issues will be the biggest threat. 42%, 22% for terror, 23% said something else, 11% said nature. What do you guys think of that?
Ooh, man, I think the poll's a little backwards. We're knee deep in the very beginning of tornado season here. So I think severe weather, honestly, is your most likely SHTF event. Extreme weather events happen every single day. And unfortunately, it seems that more and more Americans are on the receiving end of those, So I think the poll's just slightly backwards. I'm not saying that the other ones are not a threat. I just think maybe we flip it on its head and then get your prepper priorities straight. That's all.
No, most definitely. How about you, Mr. Livingston Man? What are your thoughts?
I think I'd have to go with something else.
Okay, I bite. Now,
but-
we're going to have to ask what's your something else.
Right, but I'm also going to concur with Mike that especially the thing probably most likely to happen is you could chalk up nature, or I'm going to go with something else is like a personal crisis, an injury at work, an automobile accident, a house fire, something that maybe just only affects you. Southern Tier Preparedness has got a story about an apocalypse that only happened to her, man.
Yeah,
and
I
that's the
remember
things
that.
and they're very hard to account for, because who thinks of that? It's like, look both ways before you cross the street, and then you get hit by an airplane. So
Yeah.
that's the world out here.
That would
man,
be at that point. It's like, man, it was your time, bro. The plane just came out of nowhere and dropped on you. But that's true. I mean, how many friends do we know? I mean, we could probably sit down over a beer and count 20 people each that got hurt at work, car accident.
And
Hell, I had a neighbor fall off the roof putting up Christmas lights, and fractured his back. Fortunately, he recovered, but yeah, that's a really good point, man. That's very good.
Nobody means to do that. Nobody was like, what I'm going to do is go get disabled today. It's
That's not what normal people say. No.
Right. So it's one of those things, and you can, I don't suppose I could show you a way to prep for that sort of thing, but maybe not most likely, but I think perhaps the threat that's most dangerous is just like that personal apocalypse that only you are actually going to have to go through.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely valid. Trent, what's your take, man?
All the above. Something's going to happen, whether, it's personal, nature, financial, flat out WW3, who knows, but something will, period. So keep on prepping, folks. That's my take on it.
100%. Oh, wait, I got to put the disclaimer.
Oh, there it is.
Purely
I couldn't really talk too much until you put that up.
Yeah, I know. It just restricted us. I've already been put in Instagram jail several times. Apparently,
safe.
Blunt objects used against people who abuse others is frowned upon on Instagram. So, or implying that that's acceptable. So we won't. Again, that's opinions.
Woke.
So, guys, I had to think about 3 really good questions that we could really dig into and stuff we don't always think about. So here's my first one, if you guys are ready. And you guys can answer whichever one wants to lead off. And it kind of goes with what we just said about an SHTF. What's the threat? What is your criteria?
Let's go in order.
Versus bugging out. So
I think
Trent here.
Yeah, I think Trent should take this one first.
Trent, go.
Sort of clockwise.
Sure.
I suppose.
Yeah, it'd be clockwise.
Clock rolls, let it roll. Mine's very simple. I am not bugging out unless my house burns down or a battalion of tanks is, a mile away. Other than that, we're going to bug in and fortify and deal with whatever comes our way.
Okay. So, Lou, how about you, sir?
Yeah, I'm going to concur exactly with that. Unless the position has become untenable, can't stay here. My house is burned down, completely compromised, or I guess in the bigger scheme, again, the stuff you can't account for. Folks were learning what it was like for a train to derail and for chemicals to be burning, and they were like, you got to leave. There's been many instances of that sort of thing happening where, I don't know if you guys know what Centralia, Pennsylvania is. The coal mine fire burns underneath the town.
Yep, the abandoned town.
Go. Chernobyl, Pripyat, Ukraine, when the reactor melted down, y'all got to go. And bonus, you're never coming back. You can never come back.
But you can tour it. Well, you used to be able to, now you can't.
And those people are, they ain't thinking this through. They could just pay the visitor's fee to go there. They could get their stuff. They could, be like, oh man, my teddy bear, it's radioactive, but fine. But what I mean is that I am absolutely against bugging out unless it's not only a last resort, in fact, the only resort. No. And I feel like I still might be tempted to stand my ground and say, fuck it, but that's easy to say.
Yeah. Yep. How about you, Mr. Hudson Valley?
Well, so I live, as the crow flies, about 50 miles from a nuclear power plant. And, I did some research on it, and during the Fukushima incident in Japan,
Yeah.
Japan gave their little exclusion zone. And then I remember President Obama came on TV and he said, we respect Japan. They're good friends of ours. But if you're an American citizen, we want you to stay at a minimum of 50 miles away from that thing. Now, I am at like the 50-mile mark as the crow flies from this thing. So it got me to thinking that if that thing melted down, I might not necessarily have to leave right away, but every refugee from New York City on up is going to get pushed into my front yard. And I live in summer camp land, so there's a lot of places around here that they might turn into, well, evacuation centers. So I don't know if I necessarily want to stick around for something like that. Ultimately, my goal is to bug in. My home is my castle, and I know it better than any other place on Earth because I live here.
Right.
So a nuclear meltdown, that's one thing that's going to push me out of here. Aside from hordes of city folks coming this way without a nuclear meltdown, that would push me out of here as well because they're going to come through like locusts and just eat everything and leave nothing but the famine behind.
Got my stomach rumbling. All these people.
Exactly.
Nobody knows where
We'd
they
be
are.
out with the green egg.
So the goal ultimately is to bug in, but I'm not a put all my eggs in one basket kind of guy.
Yeah.
So I definitely keep stock bug out bags. I definitely have bug out plans. I have caches and those sort of things in case I have to leave, not because I want to leave, but in case I have to leave.
Okay.
So criteria met: invasion, war, nuclear, anything biological or chemical that I physically cannot breathe the air here anymore. I got to go. I got to go immediately. And all those things are a possibility living close to rail, within range of a nuclear power plant. And nowadays, man, you just don't know. Terroristic things happen, unfortunately, in our world. And it's something that we need to prepare for.
That's a good point. So here's a question to all of you then. I guess question 1A. If, let's say, something presents that you do indeed have to bug out, it's say a fast-moving fire like LA or flooding like North Carolina, how important do you think it is to have a specific set of destinations
I think it's
when you
tantamount.
leave your property?
It's the most important thing. Otherwise, you're just like, you might as well just run off into the woods in your underwear. If you don't know where you're going and you got no plan, like you're just out there with the rest of them, it's a Walking Dead scenario waiting to happen. You're going to get preyed upon, or worse. You have to become the one that preys. You're going to be ignorant, just another refugee out there with your little sack over your shoulder, ashy and dirty. No, you need to set this kind of stuff up now. Like, you got to know where you're going, have a plan, because without one, like I said, might as well just run off into the woods naked. Fuck it.
Although if you ran into the woods naked, I think people would flee.
Well, I have that mystique about me. Not everyone does, though.
Go out there with a loincloth and a club.
Paint myself blue, carrying like skeletons around with me. Like,
You're so blue, not purple, just blue.
Yeah.
I'm stuck on that color. Mike, what about you, man? What do you think?
Again, I don't want to go if I don't have to. If I'm going, I am going. And again, if you're not, just like Lou said, if you're not planned out ahead of time and you don't have locations in mind, places to go, people who know, hey, this happened, so and so may show up here because he told us that if something like this happened, he'd be coming through. So I don't even have to make a call. You know what I mean? Those plans are already in place, and if XYZ happens, expect visitors, and it'll be me, and we'll be a very short stay. And I just want to grab that thing that I left here, and away I go. So it's no hassle to anybody. I've got plans to sleep in a garage, sleep in a warehouse, sleep here, sleep there, as long as I have a place to rest with the family, because ultimately it's not me, it's my entire family. So I'm not looking. Although I do carry an awesome camping backpack, that's not really my bug out bag. My bug out bag is more my documents, my important things from home. It's not all the survival gear. That's a whole separate bag. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to the woods, man. If your plan is to bug out to the woods, you're in deep shit. I'll tell you that right now.
Yes, you are.
Trent, how about you, my friend? Oh, go ahead.
Can we? I want to really touch back on what Mike said about like important documents and things like that, because I kind of opened my eyes a little bit when he said that. There was some I kind of never thought of. Your social security card, your birth certificate, whatever. And now, depending on the level of threat here, if a giant comet is coming, like we might not need our social security cards anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, a house fire, not even one that like ruins your house, but like, it just burnt up like your bedroom or something. I hate to sound really negative here because this is scary shit to think about, but you could lose everything. All of a sudden you get unpersoned because your documents are gone, and you go ahead. You got to go to the DMV now and attempt to prove that you exist, bro. And you ain't got no house to live in. So that's fun. Now, well, the houseless population, we might start to look to them not as like these outcast degenerates from society, but more as like actually the ultimate preppers. Like they're already bugging out. They're already adapting, surviving, and I dare say living off the land. It might behoove you to look upon them with a different eye. Could be you, man.
Maybe even observe them.
A lot of people didn't choose that life either.
No, but even observing them, see where they gather, see, because if you watch, you'll notice. I used to see that in Houston. There were certain places they would all gather in a parking lot, kind of after hours, and you'd think they were up to no good. They would open a bag, and they were trading. They had this little, and I'd see that same group, about 8 of them, men and women, every other night. They would gather there. And I'm like, these ingenious little shits that you guys have a market, a mobile market. And so I bet there's a bunch we could learn from the transient population, because really what they're doing, they're just moving around.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you think your future is bugging out, then you might want to actually like learn a lot from that subset of society.
Absolutely. And like Mike said, I have a specific place I can, and it's not something permanent. It's somewhere where the family can rest. I can pick up a cachet of what I left there and, spend the night, maybe 2 nights, and then move on to the next. But the woods is the last place I would even think about going to.
Unless you have a hunting lodge hidden somewhere up there. But in which case, then you have a specific location.
Right.
Yep.
Right?
I mean,
that's your cache. That's your destination.
So don't get me wrong. I do carry things like tarps and stuff like that in my bag in case I need to shelter outside in the woods, in case I need to hide in the woods, anything like that to get away from people. I'm not saying I don't carry those things. I'm just saying I don't lean as heavily on those because my plans and the network of people that I've made over the years supports me a whole lot better than that freaking tarp is gonna. I promise you.
Fair. So here's a question: have you guys? And this wasn't part of my original question; it just popped in my head when you guys were talking. If you have to leave your town, had you thought or did you make plans to coordinate a bug out? So instead of each family or each couple or group going separately, you're going as a convoy, 5, 6, 10 vehicles and families together. Is that something you thought of, and how did that come about?
Yes, and yes. That's all I can say. Our Ohio family, because Ohio is real, we have designated alternative places that we can go as a group and reinforce and
Ohio.
Yeah,
Ohio.
We're gonna go there. It's like Shangri-La. Like, so we're gonna go there. Only Ohioans know what that even means. The code he was talking about. That's what that is. Ohio. It's like, yeah.
So I guess
Steven-
my answer
Steven
to your
Shyamalan,
question
brother.
is yes. Yes, I have spoken with people about this, and everybody's kind of their own entity. You know what I mean? I'm never gonna say, hey guys, we have to go. I'm gonna say, hey, listen, man, I'm gonna make a move. If you guys are thinking about it, now would be the time. We can go together and roll as a pack and look out for each other.
Yep.
But it's not, it's not really a group decision. It's more of an individual decision as to who would stay and who would go. But there are people that I would try my best to notify, given whatever the particular situation is, before I make that move. Because again, there's strength in numbers, and many hands make light work. Lots of eyes help see threats from all angles. So,
Yep.
It's good to travel with folks.
Yep.
That's a good point. And to your point, I mean, you could all say, "Oh, we're evacuating site A. We'll all travel to B together." But then from point B, one family may go left, one may go right, one may continue straight. So, but yeah, leveraging the group, if you will, might
Right.
Absolutely.
definitely help.
Yeah.
Okay, well, those were good topics, and the reason some of these questions, I know I'm leading, I'm trying to bring up these topics because a lot of people don't think of them. I think we could all agree on that.
Oh, absolutely.
When we talk to folks in the public, they may not compute it. So here's question 2. This one's a little more hypothetical than something that could actually happen, and this one's a bit open ended. So currency or barter? When are each better? And types of currency, if that was the option. So I guess, wait a minute, Trent started last time. So Lou, is it you, or do you want to just kind of wing it?
I'll do it. Most times I'm gonna pick barter over currency. If you have ever heard me go on about this, I consider money to be useless in its current form already. And worse is when I'm hungry and you want to give me a fucking diamond ring for a chunk of ham. You're not getting it. I can't eat the diamond ring, dude. And I think that what we need to do is let go of our current understanding of what currency is. And I don't want to, I will dig a hole on this subject, but like at the end of the day, money's not real. So buy real stuff with this fake money now before you can't. And then it will turn into barter. I need food and you have cigarettes and we're going to make a deal here. Because passing around bits of paper, bottle caps, chunks of metal, fine. You then eat your gold. Then this is gonna be good. I'm gonna watch you eat your gold. I want to watch you fuck your gold. I want you to wear your gold. At the end of the day, it ain't gonna mean nothing. And if you think it does, I need you to explain it to me.
Okay, Mike, Trent.
I think I want to say both, honestly, currency and barter. I think there's a time at when SHTF that a lot of folks are going to look to capitalize on that. They're going to mark things up, right? They're going to price gouge. They're going to want $50 for that case of water, and maybe you need just one more case of water. So if you have that $50, and well, let's say it was an economic collapse, right? And the U.S. dollar has tanked. I mean, it's totally in the shitter. And you walk in with a fistful of Canadian dollars, you might be able to sway somebody a little easier here in the north, along the Canadian border, where we still have exchanges with that kind of money. You might be able to sway them with foreign currency over your devalued stuff that you have now. I know that I saw that in what was that movie, Civil War? That was a big thing they were trying to get across the country, and nobody wanted the American dollar because it wasn't worth anything. And when she flashed some Canadian cash, they were happy to, whatever she needed at that point. It was $300, but it was Canadian, and they were happy to accept it for that. So I think a mixture of currencies, especially like Pete, you're gonna want some pesos and things from
Yep.
south of the border because that's closer to you, and that's something that people there still see value in.
Yeah.
You know, folks in Michigan are not going to see the value in your pesos, but they will see value in loonies and toonies because hey, that's just across the border, and those folks will happy to take that money from me. So I think different currencies have different places. And as long as you have skills, you can barter. You don't necessarily need physical items to barter. I think that's an important point to put home because there's so much you can do if you're a handyman, if you're a roofer, if you're a carpenter, if you're
Yeah.
any kind of skilled tradesman. If
Yep.
you can bring water to a house or wire up that generator and get it going, that's a huge, notch in your belt. You're valued so much more because you can do those things for people who can't otherwise do it.
And you know what
So
else is, it can't be stolen from you or otherwise like taken from you. Like
Correct.
True.
Correct. That's knowledge that you carry with you. I mean, they can steal my hammer, but I can pick up a rock and hammer a nail with it if I need to. I can makeshift a hammer if I have to. But the skills are always there. You know, the knowledge is always there, and like Lou said, it's something that can't be taken from you.
Yep. And I agree. Both currency, especially if the dollar tanks, you know, Canadian money, Mexican, you know, and again, you know, gold and silver is going to always have some type of value. But when it comes to bartering, you know, my
why
physical
though?
skill. Why? Ask the Roman Empire.
Yeah, look at them. I would, except they're fucking not here no more.
Yeah, they are. They're-
Collapsed
Gold
and
is
overtaken
still
by the
around.
Gothic peoples, bro. You know, Rome fucked up. They lasted. They had a good run. Yeah, all that gold
to-
though.
to
Look at
Lou's
them. Look at them
point,
now.
Yeah.
it also at some point, wouldn't you say society may, because it's happened before after the Dark Ages, right? You had the Renaissance, like you have these collapses, and then society reforms. And somebody says, you know, we need some kind of meat trade that everyone agrees on.
Yeah.
And to be fair, gold and silver have been around for about 5,000 years. So that and booze and the other,
Tobacco.
the oldest, the second oldest trade in the world.
Exactly.
I know that
Exactly.
sounds awful, but
Which
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, well, and that goes back to what Mike was talking about. Is like go out there and sell yourself. What do you do well? Well, do it.
yeah, that's what
Yeah.
you do. Yeah, I got
Yeah,
you.
honestly,
Yeah.
hey, to each their own. To each their own.
Right. But you know, I think it's going to be a combination of both. You know, especially during SHTF. You know, in the first days or weeks, people are still going to be taking currency, with the premise of, well, the economy will come back around. Maybe it
I think
won't.
I'll dissent from the court on this decision, but respect it nonetheless. That I and you know why I hate money is because I ain't got none, so it's easy.
Well,
You know,
come to
CUCV
Ohio and I'll give you the T-shirt.
CUCV farmer brings up a good point. I'd have to agree. I wouldn't, unless it was
No.
family or someone who's already very established. I would never trade something that can be turned around and used against me at some.
Bro, that
future
is
point.
like one of my core tenets is never trade or give away anything that can be used to harm you.
That's in your like Miranda rights, bro.
Yeah, man, that's just
anything you give will be used against you.
that is a hard no for me, dog.
Yep,
Sorry.
Same here. Never.
So
Never.
what about the use, like you were talking, all right, gold and silver, the U.S. economy tanks, the world economy tanks, and a region comes up with, like Texas decides, oh, you know what, we're going to say, I don't know, a barrel of oil is equal to 50 pieces of silver. I don't know, some standard.
Right.
So now I guess that, Lou, that may be where it comes from. You've created you've tied it to something of value. And
Yeah.
it could be, it's really not in and of itself. You can't eat the coin, but I would argue that it is a transfer of wealth from one medium to another. Like right now, the silver may get you green dollars, which would become toilet paper if the economy collapses. But
Yeah.
if
Okay.
So
again,
what's worth
so
more,
a
50
gold,
50
a
gold
gold
coins or 1 Bitcoin?
Bitcoin's fucking. That's
It doesn't
again.
exist.
That's the fakest money possible. The real money you can hold in your hand is already fake, and this shit you can't even hold in your hand. It's even more fake.
It's
the
invisible and
fakest
fake.
thing in the world.
Yes.
And ask
Oh, that-
anybody. Ask
I
anybody
agree with
what
you.
is a Bitcoin. They're like, it's a blockchain. You're like, what's that? It's too deep. Whatever that is, I don't
it's a
understand.
blockchain.
It's a blockchain.
I don't even know what it is. I mean, I've heard the phrase.
No,
That's
they'll
why I
always
don't-
hit you with that. But
yeah.
what is it? They're like, well, it's a blockchain. I'm like, okay, well, what's that? Listen, all you Bitcoin bros, listen, do your thing, but cash out soon, bro, because all it takes is no electricity and yo ass broke again. So that easy. At least the people hoarding gold and food and freedom seeds, they got some physical shit to back it up. You got you had a website or something. Like nobody cares, dude. You know.
A snapshot on a phone that has no internet anymore, you know.
Correct.
But I have $1 million.
I'm rich though. Oh, okay, cool. I don't know how to. And also, I don't know how to do anything. But listen, I have Bitcoin. Can we
Hit
eat
the
it?
road, dude.
No.
Yeah.
Can we touch it? No. Can we eat it? No. What does it do? I don't know.
So,
Cool.
to your guys' point, would it be fair to say that skills and or the ability to provide any labor, say you're helping a guy herd his cattle, is that a currency in and of itself?
It has
yeah.
to be because if not only for someone else, for you to provide a service to them, it's got to be a service to yourself. You ain't no fucking bug-in prepper and you don't know how to plunge a toilet. You ain't no bug-in prepper if you don't know how to troubleshoot general household issues.
Yes.
And that's where it starts.
Listen, you trade your skills for currency every single day. If you get up and you go to work, you are trading your skills for currency right now. It will be no different. You're just not going to drive to some place and trade your skills.
Right.
Your skills now provide the things that you need instead of the fiat currency. I've often said that there will come a time when all of us will stop working for a living and we will start living for a living. That means farming your own food. That means drawing your own water. That means doing everything yourself and nobody else to help you out, unless you have an incredible community. So build your community. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot of hard work and it's going to be on you.
Yep.
Absolutely valid.
The more
points.
you know. The next time you have an issue in your house, my silly thermostat don't work. Like my this thing, my pipes are leaking. This is going to be infrastructure. Consider your house your compound. Consider your house your shelter, your whatever, your home base, because that's what it is. And you're taking a real gamble by relying on outside help to fix every issue that could possibly come up. The more you know, and it's a simple Google search away. I've told the story 100 times about how I went in the space of 3 White Claws from I don't know how to prime my furnace to fuck it, give me my 10mm wrench, I'm doing it, and did. It's that easy. Stop acting like you can't. Stop acting like you don't. Nobody was born knowing how to do anything. Got to learn this stuff
Well,
now.
we knew
and
how to poop.
especially, you don't know how to do that. You just do it.
It's an involuntary
It's
act.
automatic. It's automatic.
You would.
Yeah, it would just happen anyway. You
The
just pass
functions
that.
would occur without your input. But in this case, and not only are you being able to provide security and knowledge for yourself, as well as a little bit of emotional well-being, like I'm gonna be okay, I know what to do here, but also step it up. And now, like, there are people who don't know how to do this, and you do, and that's where your bartering your skills and trade come into it. Now, this isn't about professionals versus handymen, hack jobs versus journeymen and shit. But this is like, I can make that thing work.
But
and that's
it's a
what's gonna
competency
matter.
thing. I'm competent enough to make X happen, whatever that may be.
Right.
Yeah.
So
There's
Yep.
going to be some
True.
MacGyvering. There's going to be some improvisation codes. Don't worry about it. Doesn't exist. Did it catch fire? No. Does it work? Yes. You did good.
You're
did
good.
you die making it?
Exactly. You're good. Yeah.
There you go. All right. No, that's good. Those are good inputs too, and it's something for everyone to think about. If you don't have a skill and you learn one, should you maybe, if you go online and you figure it out, maybe print it? We were talking about important papers. Making a book of how-tos wouldn't hurt either.
Oh, definitely not. And
What is a book?
never heard of them. That's those electric things that I listen to on the internet.
It's a
Livingston
Kindle.
Man.
Yeah.
It's the electric.
It's in your phone.
It's one of those things. It's like a stack of papers all glued together, right? I got bored after having to flip it. I hated that I had to keep manual labor.
Yeah. You had to turn the page.
That was not one of your currency skills, was it?
I thought this was America.
All right. So, guys, I got a third question for you, and it kind of
Right
branches off of what we just discussed. So I'll leave it to you. Who wants to jump on it first? What is an underappreciated skill in our community, referring to the preparedness homesteading community, that we do not discuss enough, in your opinion?
Let's see. I'll go with two of them right off the bat. Animal husbandry. It's super important to be able to replicate your food. If
I
your
ain't
food
marrying
is
no
not,
animals, bro.
if your food is not producing more food, then it's not going to last very long. You know, gardens are seasonal. Livestock is throughout the winter. So that's what's going to help, you know, your food stores and harvesting livestock in the fall and properly storing it. Hopefully we'll see you through the winter, and hopefully you're having more livestock born in the fall that will, you know, grow up young and then unfortunately have to be dinner for the next winter. But I think animal husbandry is highly underrated, and I think sourcing clean water is highly underrated. I think dirty water is going to take out more people than anything else when a real SHTF happens.
It always has. History.
Most
teaches
folks
us.
are just ignorant about it.
Yes.
That's an interesting one. Jokes and storytelling. If you think about like the native tribes, that was very important to pass knowledge and culture.
I do. Have a
I
place
agree
here.
with half ready. Meat preservation.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're
That's a
doing
good one.
the animal husbandry, and you just slaughtered chickens and cows. So, and if there's a power outage now, how do you preserve that meat?
You better know. You better know.
Right.
I know.
Yeah, I do
But
too.
you better
Yeah.
know.
better know. Yeah.
Don't think you know. Know that you know.
Know that
Because
you
if
know.
you think you know, you're probably going to get sick and die. Just saying. Then we won't be seeing y'all tomorrow on the We All Gonna Die Wednesday.
Because
We're
you'll
supposed
already
to
be
die
dead.
Tuesday.
Next
Oh, we're gonna
Wednesday, they'll
fucking-
be dead. Yeah.
That's
Who the
right.
hell dies on a Tuesday? It's just ridiculous.
Oh, that's a good one, Grit and Grace. Yeah, man. I
Music.
think entertainment like that, like you said, games, cards, jokes, dice, anything, old school games, paper games, board games, shit. Go outside and play tag. You know, I mean,
You know, and you think about the music, guys, that's also a tradable skill,
Mm.
right? Another group, you want to, I don't know, you're lost in the woods and you want some soup, and you're like, well, I can sing music or play music. That might have value to people,
Good.
yeah.
just emotionally, psychologically.
Yeah.
I feel that because it's always been my dream to live like as some sort of post-apocalyptic jester / minstrel. Like
There you go. That's it.
Yeah,
follow
play
them
me
like-
some
like-
apocalyptic movie as we raid the house down the street.
Like
Some
y'all
apocalyptic
blasting,
music.
yeah, I'm saying y'all blasting guns down the street. I'm just there with the guitar, like
Yeah, that'd
Be like
well.
that guitarist in that cartoon.
I need a theme song.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
need the playlist,
smoke
bro.
clears and
gotcha.
out comes 8 guys. Yeah.
I like
can't wait
Dungeons
until,
and
like,
Dragons when the
Like
power's
15 years in the future, I'm like, anyway, guys, here's Wonderwall, and it brings back like this whole thing. Like it's like this patriotic anthem that only we remember. You know, teach it to our kids and stuff.
Yeah.
You definitely need an autistic guitar. Yeah.
Acoustic.
seen
The
that.
typos are
Acoustic.
killer. The
Oh
typos are
man,
killer.
Nope.
that's serious. Is doing that.
Livingston Man has
I want
one
of
right
those.
around the
I got
corner.
3 of them. Matter of fact, a couple of them don't think right.
Oh, good golly.
I got music for the whole town.
Now, I was
That's a
going to
big one.
say, I was going to go with something more. It's not, I don't know if it's a skill, but it might almost be a superpower, is the ability to sort of just tune out the noise. In the scenarios we're presenting here, you're going to be presented with, oh man, like decisions and situations and just things being said and done that you have not thought about. And
Right.
the ability to, I guess you'd probably call it just remain calm under fire, because it's going to be real easy. We're talking high stress, man. Like,
Oh yeah.
the stakes are so high. Everybody's got everything riding on everything, and there's going to be these personal interactions that, like, I get like a diplomacy, a person that can like bridge gaps, a person that can be the glue of a thing. Like, it's gonna be the most important leaders. Look, yeah, there it is. Beat
So
all the way
you're
around the bush,
talking
found it.
you're 100%. I'm tracking what you're saying. Somebody that in I guess the business world they'd call a bit visionary or collaborative. Somebody who can go from group A, B, and C and get them on the same page in a way involve violence and music going on at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, fucking hey, dude, violence, music, cannibalism, and cryptocurrency. I am there for it.
That's right.
I'll bug out for that. I'm coming. But yeah, it's going to take these, these heroic figures, and we've always had them. You call them your heroes of history, your founding fathers, your local heroes. These people that maybe didn't even want the task, but rose up to it and overcame it. You're going to need those people, and you might be surprised who they turn out to be.
Yep.
Yeah, no, most definitely. So would you, Lou, would you argue that social skills and relationships might be a super valuable commodity?
Absolutely. You have to know people. And even at the level of, like, I said once on one of Mike and I's live streams, I'm like, there's going to be a day when you're going to look across a post-apocalyptic battlefield. I'm from Boston now. And you're going to be like, hold up, yo, is that the homie? And like, take your mask and helmet off and be like, bro, what the, it's going to be like, yo, and it's going to boil down to like knowing somebody, man. And life already works this way, so and the apocalypse is going to work 1,000 times more than that. It's going to be who you know. And if you don't know nobody, you're going to be the outcast. You're going to be the refugee. You're going to be the scrubs. You're going to be, the prospect. The more you know and who, the more who you know now, the better your position going in.
Half-Ass has a good point. Didn't the Marine Corps also start in a bar?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
Ton Tavern.
Brewery and winery. If you can
Huge.
create wine,
Definitely be whining
beer.
a lot.
Also, beer purifies the water, that whole process. So that's a good way to have
That's
water.
huge, man. I am so blessed to live in the Hudson Valley. Beer is
a way to preserve last year's harvest in liquid
Absolutely.
form.
It is.
Beer is
That's-
food.
Yeah.
It has
Beer,
caloric content.
cider,
Yeah.
hard liquors, anything like that, man.
You're
Well,
We
the
have
wines and the beers.
Distilleries
You're-
about a mile and a half away. The brewery is about a half a mile away down the
You
road.
ain't getting in there. They got security like you
I
don't know
don't.
about.
They ain't got no security. All I gotta do is go knock on the door and say, "Hey, buddy, how's it going? Remember me? I'm the guy Mike that buys all the apples and the beer from you all the time." Because I'm familiar with these places, I go there, so they know me.
That goes back to
I'm
the
not going to be a
relationship thing.
I'm not going to be a stranger to them. They've seen me before, and they'll see me again. And when the time comes, I'll stop by and say, "Hey, man, you got any beer? I'm willing to work with you. Whatever you need done. Or do you have any spirits? I could really use some whiskey, or maybe some moonshine, whatever you guys are stilling up. I appreciate it, because in shitty times, man, you get a high enough percent alcohol. It's used for a hell of a lot more than just drinking.
Oh yeah.
That's right. Medical, everything.
I'm listening.
Well, even cooking too. So.
Oh yeah, big time.
Okay.
Big time.
So I got one more question for you guys. Lou, did you want to add to that last one?
It was actually the last segment of your disclaimer. Decisions that affect them. Let's see. I got purely that of the participants. All viewers are in. Okay, here's this one. All viewers are encouraged to conduct their own research before making decisions that affect them. Now, on this route about who you know, and not only that, but it's who do you know, but how were your interactions with them? It's easy to forget all the people we see every day and all the, the sort of NPCs in your life that are there, but like you're not intimately connected with them, but sort of secondarily connected to them. Like, you're in the social web, but not toward the center of it. But there's going to be people that remember when you said like, hey bro, what's up? Like when you simply acknowledge another person's existence, they'll remember that. You hold the door for them. They'll remember that. Like when you were just a decent human being to them, didn't judge them, didn't have some predisposed attitude toward them. People will remember that. So I guess this boils down to like, go out there, like be a good person. Don't be a weak person, but be a good person. People remember this. And when it comes down to like, it's going to be at the end of the day, who you know, and that's going to matter. I promise you.
Yeah.
The roaming prepper, JBS has a really good question in the chat. I'd like to take a little crack at it if you don't mind. So his question is, what do you do if you get in over your head? How do you get out when life's matter? So if your first intuition is to get out, you shouldn't have gotten in the first place, JBS. Maybe you were in a little bit over your head to begin with, or your head was just so swollen that you weren't humble enough to say, this is beyond me. Somebody else needs to handle this. It's important to humble yourself and know that something is beyond your capabilities, or you're the type of person who likes to rise to an occasion and step up to the plate and get shit done, or you're just going to crumble underneath the weight and get everybody killed, man. Honestly, those are your two options. There's really no other way about it. Either rise to the occasion, or you pass the torch to somebody who's got more skills and a bigger set of balls than you.
Yeah, it's a kind of a vague question, but my Mike was pretty diplomatic. My answer would have been like fire in every direction and fuck everything that isn't behind me or that I love. Okay. I guess over my head. How do I get out? I mean, I don't know.
I'm gonna turn lay down.
There's always the know when to walk away, but I've found that King Corso is that like knowing when to walk away doesn't. You got to be real committed to walking away, and you got to be sure that your adversary is gonna accept that outcome too. Like some people can't handle not getting the last word. Some people can't handle winning. It's like you won, but like they still can't get over it. Like no, they didn't want to win that way.
Yeah. There's a lot of people like that, Livingston Man. A lot of people who don't like to see others win. They have to be the one in control. I am definitely more so of a person to say, hey man, this is the roaming prepper's neck of the woods, and he's going to be able to give you a better answer than I could any day. Or this is Trent's wheelhouse. This is Livingston Man's bread and butter. You're talking to the wrong person. This is the guy that you need to be dealing with.
Yep. Same here.
I know by the question and by the way people are asking it, if I'm in over my head already, maybe I can give some people some basic knowledge and say, hey man, I know a little bit and this is what I can do for you. Sorry, I can't be of more help, but it's important to know what you're capable of, what your skill sets are, and not to get in over your head to begin with.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Confidence, but with realism. Like,
no, I appreciate it, JBS. I see your comment there. I know you're not trying to start stuff, and I do appreciate all the thought-provoking questions in the chat, man.
Right, exactly, and that's the thing. during SHTF, I'll say the number one thing you need to put aside, no matter what, is pride.
Yeah, your ego, shove it,
that
if
ego
you're
away and humble yourselves, because I'll be the first to say, I don't know. What do y'all think? How do we deal with this situation?
I think the alpha male mindset is going to be a huge problem in SHTF. It's the people that don't want to lose. They don't want to be second. It's going to be a big
And
problem.
I think the alpha mindset that is more prone to surviving would not be the one we see on the internet or in the offices.
Right.
Exactly.
Because they are protected. If you're a jerk at work, unless you get hit with a harassment suit, there are laws. There's policemen. I will go to you and curse and yell at you, and because I'm in the street, and what are you going to do? The lights are out, and everything's dark, and someone comes out and starts yelling at your wife and kids. I'm going to be in a very different mental place. I might be like, this person's an imminent threat. And I bet we all would react much more extremely than we would, going to Walmart tomorrow.
Yeah, and apologies, JBS, if I came off as kind of ticked off about it. But honestly, man, I see a lot of people leading folks astray, giving bad advice, and it bothers me. It bothers me because I've worked so hard here to try and bring truth and honesty and real preparedness to folks, and we get scoffed at, we get dumped on by the big tech companies, all of us here for sure, and it sucks, but you get a little passionate about it after a while.
No, for sure. So I got one question left. I don't know if you guys want to jump on that one before we call it a wrap.
The rest of
Absolutely.
us pick one topic. Pete's like, I got a list.
Do it.
Yeah, he brings out a notebook.
Do it. I love the questions, man.
Let's go.
Okay, so last one. There's an incident nearby, and this, I think Mike already started talking about this after the first question, but you're not affected, but you're expecting some kind of spillover. How would you try to handle? What would be your concerns if like something happened in New York City or in, Springfield, Ohio, or maybe for me, Dallas and Houston?
Well,
Man.
For me, it would be, monitor it and, see if I can get a hold of people in that nearby vicinity to find out what's really going on, and deal with it. I may stay put because I'm staying put, and we'll deal with it depending on what it is. Now, if we're talking nuclear fallout, then we're all doomed. But I'm going to monitor the situation and act accordingly. If it is coming closer, and if it's coming my direction, and we know about it, we'll prepare for it accordingly. And let others around us know that, hey, here's the threat, here's what's going on, deal with it accordingly.
I can dig that. I would, out of hand, like this, basically agree with the above. Like, go to DEFCON, your next level. Like, you're on alert. Like, okay, like maybe it might be time to make sure we are ready to leave if necessary, or we're just on a little more. The bees start swarming around the hive, making sure everything's cool. I'm not gonna. Now, incident is nearby. I mean, now what is incident? We don't know. We're spitballing, but I suppose depends on what incident means. Like, is my neighbor's house on fire? I'll probably fucking hook up a garden hose and start trying to help or do something. Like,
Yep.
But at the same time, I could also be a little harsh and say, like planes hit the Twin Towers. That was New York City. I mean, they got rocked, dude. But I mean, that literally didn't affect me. There was nothing I could do except nothing. Out of my hands. Who am I, dude? At the time, of course, I was 18 years old, but still, I mean, you know when you can do something, when you can't. Maybe I could say that, like, you got to know when to perform CPR and when to let somebody else take the reins on that. You know what I mean? If you're gonna step up and do it, you got to keep doing it and you got to follow through.
Amen, Livingston Man.
Yep, exactly.
Well said. Well said. To expand on what you said, I think if it's local enough, if it's nearby enough, and I can help, I'm going to try to. In whatever capacity that may be. I may just be the guy who runs a little further for help and to get somebody else who, maybe has a piece of equipment or some skills that can help. I'm a helper, man. That's kind of my MO. So that would be my go-to. And I hate standing around and watching things like that, watching people struggle. Not my thing. So always looking to help out.
Same here.
Even if you can just direct them to resources and spread from one end to the other,
absolutely,
that has a lot of value. If you're hearing stuff on the radio and then you're transmitting it on your ham or your GMRS to the people in the affected area saying, hey, the folks over here said this is where a resource for you is, you are now the news source. So
I'm busy.
Well, gentlemen, I
appreciate it.
I tried to throw some tough ones at you tonight. Again, if Rumble didn't crash on us while we were trying to start the first chat, we probably would have been a little more smooth on that delivery.
Rumble is a Canadian Trudeau-funded communist propaganda tool, and I would recommend you don't fucking use it. I speak from experience.
I wonder if that YouTube guy that we like to make fun of is messing with it somehow. Wonder if it's a big conspiracy.
He's like the Canadian Elon. He's like got his tentacles all in the internet up there.
And JBS, no offense, man. You're not hurting the feelings. Yeah, you're not hurting the feelings that I don't have, my friend.
Stop apologizing for apologizing.
Yeah, no, I used to do the same thing in chats all the time. I would literally answer the creators' questions or whatever in the chat, and I totally know where you're coming from. It's almost like watching me type in the chat. So I take absolutely no offense to it, and I appreciate the thought-provoking questions. Super important, man. Super important.
I do not appreciate the thought-provoking questions one bit.
He needs a few more beers, then he appreciates them more.
Yeah, I hate your guts, and if it was my stream, I would have blocked you 20 minutes ago, but that's just how it works.
Listen, not to that, man.
I'll see you next week on my stream.
Cole is ready to eat Trent, so we have to. We got to keep an eye on him.
Potty or something. So
you just got to yell, "Who's a good boy, Cole? You're a good boy." He's a good boy.
My potatoes, 3 of them are in dog jail. We decided to have a riot.
Is that Mike?
But gentlemen, that's all I've got. Did you have any parting words for the good folks in the chat before we wrap this puppy up?
Yes. Thank you for being here. If you're not subscribed to the Roaming Prepper, Vision Preparedness, and the Livingston Man, you totally should do so. Blackbird, I'm sorry. That's how YouTube's been, doing the prepper channels lately, man. I've been watching them squash channel after channel after channel after channel. I go into live streams where there used to be 1,000 people, 4,000 people, 5,000 people, and there's a few hundred. So it's super important that you guys share these out on your social medias. And I'm sorry. Cole is ready to. He's playtime, Dad.
We got some things going on.
He's getting attacked by a bear.
Trent's gonna wind up getting knocked completely off the screen.
That innocent black man's being attacked by a dog.
Nope, he's being attacked by another innocent black man.
Who said anything about innocent?
Exactly.
I appreciate everybody that came out for the live stream. Thank you, gentlemen, for, of course, doing what we do. I love hanging out with y'all. We're the coolest rock band on YouTube for sure. But everybody, like as Mike said, go out there, share this stuff out. Don't be afraid of like the stuff you watch on YouTube. I've kind of noticed a trend where, like, I'll go to y'all's profile, like I'll see you, I'll find you on Facebook. I'm kind of Detective Malone, and I see that y'all don't act the same in real life that you do up in the chat, and I'm just not calling out anybody specifically, but I'm just saying I see it. I know you do it. Don't be afraid. It's those that's that aisle you got to reach across, man.
Yeah.
Some more of your friends in your community, the people you already know, don't jam it down the throat, but make sure that they're the ones going to show up at your door.
Plant the seeds of preparedness, folks.
Plant
Plant the seeds of
To
preparedness.
Lou's point, I have trained so many new shooters in sporting clays and skeets. They're not good, but they're safe, so nobody got shot or hurt. And one girl won her first AR the other day, and she
That's
shot
awesome.
twice in her life. She came out, she's a little thing too, and she's dancing with this big old box. And the boys were like, well, who's going to teach her? I said, well, I guess that'll be me. But, even doing stuff like that, something, and you can teach someone else how to use a propane stove, how to make coffee with a French press. That's a skill. That's something you share.
Absolutely.
But
Each
well,
one
gentlemen,
teach one.
I'm going to wrap this one up. I'll see you guys backstage. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining us today. And we hope all of you next week on Livingston Man's channel. That
12
charming
of you.
fellow with the
Baby.
big microphone there.
Only the real ones show up for those. We'll see you there.
Thank you
Peace.
guys.
Stay safe, folks.
Stay safe.
Timmy. CPU at South Bay going to Bay Harbor Hospital. 923045
As a result of the outbreak,
at
the city or
1143.
entire region may be in danger
Zero
of
to
illegal
SHTF,
agents.
authorization
If conditions at your location make this a
4105.
possibility, you need to consider staying in place until the threat has subsided or blown over. The following steps will ensure that your home will serve as a biological or chemical safe haven. Select an inner room on an upstairs floor with the least number of windows and doors. Choose a large room with access to a bathroom and a telephone.
Five affirmative, break, medevac 39, advise your 97 times 39.